We have more details on Trump's pardon process, and it is as chaotic and insane as you probably were led to believe. So bad, in fact, that even on the inside, his handlers, or what passes for his handlers, are trying to get a handle on it at this point. Susie Wiles specifically is trying to stop some of these insanely corrupt pardons from happening, or at least that's what this story from Notice is saying. So she's apparently been trying to limit how much Donald Trump actually sees Alice Marie Johnson, who is his pardon czar, basically the person that he sends out to arrange massive transfers of funds to him in exchange for pardons. They say it a different way, but that's basically what's happening. So apparently Alice Marie Johnson was set to bring her latest list of pardon recommendations to Trump in a meeting just before Christmas of last year. But the meeting between the president and Johnson was canceled, joining a list of several planned meetings with people in charge of presenting pardons that were ultimately pulled off of Trump's schedule in late 2025. And of course, Susie Wiles is the person that manages his schedule. She apparently is getting concerned about some of these pardons and how they're playing. We have talked about many of them over the course of this past year. I think it's honestly, it's one of the most like deservedly, but not focused on stories of last year. Like pardons have been given out in a corrupt way for a very long time. That's not new, but nowhere near the scale or severity. Not only the January 6th releasing all these violent felons to go out there and then steal from people, sexually assault kids and stuff like that. And that continues to happen to this day. But all of the wealthy people who literally are just paying him $1 million and then getting a pardon, that should be focused on more. Susie Wiles apparently is trying to protect him from the negative ramifications of that. And I don't know how successful it's going to be. If we jump ahead to graphic 4, one source said at this point, Trump really doesn't give a crap about public reactions to his pardons. And yeah, I think that's pretty clear at this point that he's not worried about the negative reactions of that. But that said, there is some action in Congress to try to put a limit on this. Democrats want to limit the use of the pardon power, and they've got one Republican who signed on for it. That is apparently Don Bacon, is a co-sponsor of the Pardon Integrity Act that would create a process whereby 20 House members and 5 senators could force a vote on nullifying a presidential pardon, which would then require a 2/3 majority in both chambers, which is admittedly a very high bar to pass. It also almost certainly would be knocked down as unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, but I think it's probably not a bad idea considering how abused that power has been over the past year. But that said, Yaz, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I'm sure that there are some instances where the presidential pardon could and would be used for, the benefit of the greater good. But for every good or deserved pardon that we have in this country, we seem to get 100 Trump pardons. And so at this point, I'm wondering, do we just need to get rid of the whole thing, scrap it, get rid of it, rebuild from the ground up? And the quote about how he doesn't care about public opinion and reactions, that is so telling, because I often wonder, and I think I've mused about it on this show or other shows, why does he care? The polling is going down, right? We know he doesn't like to lose, we know that. But the polling, he's already in office, right? He can already do whatever it is that he wants to do. He rules by executive order. He does all kinds of things. The people protest, and all they do is they try to quell the protesting, or they try to swing the media narrative and distract people so that they forget about it and move on. And that has been working extremely well for them for this entire administration for the last 10 years. Even when he was out of office, they have been doing the same thing. They've been flooding the zone, and we keep falling for it because, especially, on a show like this one, we kind of are in a hard position, right? We have to cover the things that the president is saying and doing, but at the same time, we know that that's not the real story. We know that a lot of it is culture war stuff. We know that a lot of it is him just doing whatever he wants to benefit the people that he wants to benefit. And in this case, it is, people that have been supporting him for a long time, the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. A lot of those guys now are working for ICE, and then that direct pipeline is no mistake. That didn't happen by accident. A lot of that was very deliberate. And Trump, he needs to build up a base of people who still support him in various aspects of government and society and entertainment. And a lot of those people, unfortunately, who still support him have records against them or have been imprisoned or something. So he has to pardon them. People like George Santos, gave him a presidential pardon because he needs people in his corner, defending him publicly. And that's what we're seeing here. And even for the people within the Trump administration who acknowledge that this is not a good look, Trump, realistically, he's not looking at a third term. He's not going to run for a third term. I don't think he's going to, however it happens, I don't foresee him making it to even trying to run for a third term, right? So even if that happens, people are saying, you know what, he's going to tank the Republican Party in the meantime. All these things that he's doing, even if he doesn't directly benefit from it, the Republican Party that he represents is not going to benefit from it. He didn't care about any of that, right? All he wants is his money. He wants his kids to have money so that he can have a legacy to leave behind, so he can go down in history as whoever he wants to go down in history as. But as far as the Republican Party, he's done a lot of things, and we're gonna talk about some of those things later on in the show, that does not benefit the Republican Party because he doesn't understand politics, or he doesn't care to. All he cares about is his money.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I definitely think there needs to be major reforms because this is absolutely insane. I had honestly forgotten that he pardoned George Santos. That's insane. That's an insane thing to do considering what George Santos did. It was news for an hour and a half. And let me just briefly mention this before we move on to our final story of this segment. I'm not a lawyer or whatever, so I'm probably talking out my ass. I don't understand anything. So he's allowed legally to pardon a person, right? That's his power. So he can't get in trouble for that. But he was bribed to do it. And the way I understand bribery is that you can suffer major consequences for accepting a bribe, not because the thing you did for the bribe is illegal. Tom Homan accepted a bribe in exchange for giving contracts out. He can give contracts out. That doesn't become illegal. It's the bribe influencing him doing something he has the power to do. So if Trump accepted bribes to do something he is legally and constitutionally allowed to do, can he not suffer consequences for that? Isn't that literally how bribery works? I mean, it's very explicit, the bribes that he accepted for some of these. So are the SCOTUS gonna say that this is just that immunity that he's got or whatever? In which case, why doesn't he literally accept the bribes on camera? They could just shower him with money. They could make it rain on him at that point. They seem to want to hide it, implying that they think there are negative consequences that could come about if it was to be discussed. So I think it's something to be looked into potentially. Let's get legal on it or something.
With the cost of everything going up, here at TYT, we're always trying to help you guys out and save you some money. Your cell phone bill is the last place you should be getting ripped off. But if you're with Verizon or AT&T, chances are you're way overpaying for the plan you're on. That's why TYT is teaming up with Noble Mobile, the only cell phone plan that pays you to use your phone less. With their Noble plan, get unlimited data for only $50 a month. But the real game changer is the cash back you get for your unused data. The less data you use, the more cash back you get. It's a win-win. Stop letting big wireless rip you off. Choose a company that aligns with your values and isn't trying to milk you for every last cent. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT in our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming a member. So you're probably wondering, why would I do that? Well, when you do that, you get access to bonus content that I make every single week, and it's a lot of fun. You get custom emojis and more. If you join at tier 3, by the way, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself. And you'll get all that going forward, but you'll also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips and top 10 lists and debates and more. So what are you waiting for?